Hello YouTubers, we're down here in the basement today reassembling the transmission and reverse axle assembly to a 2005 Yamaha Raptor 350. All Raptor 350 motors are the same, as well as the Yamaha Warrior 350s. I'm actually using the service manual for 87 and 95 Yamaha Warrior, and this is a Raptor motor, but everything's exactly the same. I noticed one little difference between the one shift fork, but that is all. We had to split the case due to the chain popping off and breaking the chain guard off, putting two puncture holes into the side of the case. I read on forums that it's pretty common with Raptor 350s, but it's been a good learning experience. And a local machine shop welded me a nice little chain guard on there, patched up the holes. It's actually my first time cracking into a engine case like this, and it's been pretty simple as long as you have, or I've got the owner's manual. It gives you step-by-step instructions, and I looked for a video on YouTube explaining this. I couldn't find one. Found one for every other motor, just not this motor. So I'm gonna put this one out there, and maybe it'll help a few of y'all out. But so I'm going to go through everything and give you step-by-step instructions and go through everything that you'll need to know to finish this task. And it's really pretty simple. It only takes about half an hour to put it all back together. I've already I went ahead and changed out all the bearings. I didn't make a video of that. Didn't think about it. But yeah, if you got it apart, might as well go and change out the bearings. Add some extra life to your motor. If you do that, make sure it's easiest just to go and pull the bearings out and get the numbers off of them and just look them up on Amazon, or I think I got mine off boats.net. I think it was the cheapest website I found. And just let your bearings sit in the freezer overnight and helps them slide right in. Not much hammering. Alright, I'll quit bullshitting and go ahead and get to work. Alright, go through all the gears and parts you'll need. So I've got parts everywhere, but I've got the ones I'm gonna need, about to throw back in right here. Separated. We got the drive axle, main axle, balance shaft. Come here. Yeah, that's the drive. This is the output. We got the reverse axle gear, counter shaft balance, or not, counter shaft axle. This is the balance. We got the reverse shift drum, primary shift drum, shift fork shafts, shift 3 of them, and 4 shift forks. Shift forks are embossed L, R, RE for reverse assembly. And this one for the main axle is embossed 4GB and 2. In the book for the Warrior, it says it's labeled C. I'm not sure if this is aftermarket, because I know I'm the third owner of this quad, but or if it's just a Raptor thing. Everything else in the book's the same except that one shift fork. Alright, before you start this process, go ahead and clean out. Before you put your new bearings in, go ahead and spray it out, engine degreaser or brake cleaner, either one. Then you get your new bearings in. Before you start putting the parts in, make sure all the bearings are oiled. You don't want the motor starting with dry bearings. Go ahead and scrape all your old RTV off. Get it nice and shiny all the way around. This is my English poodle. He's a good little dog. Say hey. Alright, quit bullshitting. Let's go. Alright, first we will take the balance shaft. Put it in up here. There. Oil your bearings before you start this. Alright, next. Riding a private alone. Alright. Next, you're going to take your main axle shift fork, either labeled 4GB or C. Depends if you have the Raptor Warrior. Go ahead and, alright, I'll go through this drive axle. These top 3 gears slide off, so make sure you have them on right before you install it, or it won't work. You've got the shift gear, don't know the correct term, and you have this thinner gear, and on it you can see where the shift gear has been riding on it. I don't know if you can see it on here. It's on the inside right there. Just make sure it's stiffened on both sides. Just make sure, I don't know if it would matter, but just, use common sense. Align it where it's been rubbing. Should line up again. And then this top gear, it sticks out a little farther on one side. That faces outward. And then you have your washer. Make sure that washer is on there. Yeah. Go ahead and align both gears with the washer facing up, like so. Take your shift fork, 4GB, 2 or C, depends which one you have. Go ahead and install the shift fork. Slide them both down here at the same time. Alright, next, take the shift forks in both L and R. L goes down here on the bottom on the 6th gear, and the R goes up here on the 5th gear. Then we're going to take the 2 long shift fork shafts. One has O-rings, one doesn't. The one with O-rings goes into the main axle. And don't slide these all the way down yet. Just slide them through the shift forks. So we're going to have to move them around to get them to align with the shift drum. Alright. Shift drum. It's got 3 grooves. The main axle shift fork goes in the bottom groove. Nope, in the mid. Alright, my bad. On the drive axle, the L shift fork goes into the bottom, R goes into the top, and the main axle shift fork goes into the middle. Go ahead and move the shift forks out of the way, slide that down. Alright, so L goes into the bottom, R goes into the top. And the 4GB or C, depends which one, whatever yours says, goes in the middle. Once you have those in the right grooves, then you can go and slide the shafts all the way down, and you should be able to spin through all the gears, and it shouldn't lock up. I don't reckon you have to, but I went ahead and put a little oil in each groove to just help it shift properly. Alright, next, going to take the output axle, shift fork labeled RE. Alright, the shift fork shaft, let me make sure this, hang on. Alright, go ahead and oil this O-ring also before you install it. On this shift fork shaft, one end sticks up farther than the other. Just the short end, it faces towards the C-clip. The long end goes towards the O-ring. Slide those down there at the same time. And the shift fork should sit flush with the case. Alright. take the little shaft, slide it down there. Don't engage it yet, so you have to wiggle the shift fork around. Helps to pick up on the shift fork to install the drum. Then you can go ahead and slide the shaft all the way down. Yeah. You got your reverse gear. See this? Don't do that. Yeah. See how one end sticks out farther than the other? It faces up. And you should have a washer on it also. It helps to take a lot of pictures before you do this. But like I said, I'm a noob to this, so I wasn't thinking. Alright, on the counter shaft, it's got this notch on the end of one end of the axle. It goes down into the case. The hole in the case has the same little notch cut out in it. Alright, spin that until it locks all the way down. You shouldn't be able to spin it when it's in there correctly. Alright, spin through all the gears, make sure it's not locking up. This is when you find out if something's wrong, not when it's already put together. Alright, we'll go through everything. Oh, I forgot, I've already done it, but this the counter shaft axle right here, it's got needle bearings on the inside of it. Oil those also. And you should have a washer on each end of the counter shaft, counter shaft axle, whatever. And then you should have a washer on the drive gear and a washer on the reverse gear. You should have that end facing up on the reverse shift drum. You should have the shaft with the two O-rings in the back and the main axle. That should be it. If yours looks like this, it should be good. We're going to install the other case half to make sure to check the forward and reverse shifting, make sure everything's installed correctly. It's a pretty simple task. I don't know if I've been able to do it without that book. That's kind of saved me. Oh, forgot something. Alright, we have your two locating dowels. One goes right here, and the other goes back here with the head bolts on. I don't know if you can see. Goes back there with the head bolts on. Alright, make sure your other case half's clean also. You don't want any debris in here whatsoever. And you shouldn't have to force that case on there. Might have to tap on the ends of it a little bit, but if you have to force it, something's wrong. Alright, we got the other case half on. Next, we're going to check the forward and reverse shifting. To do that, you install the other case half without the RTV. Just leave it dry for right now. We're going to, like I said, check the shifting, and then we'll take the case half off and install the RTV once we know everything's correct. Alright, first we're going to install the shift drum stopper. That involves spring, stopper, and the bolt. Try and get you a good angle. Yeah, still ain't the greatest, but it will do. Yeah, the stopper goes on like so. Take the spring goes on like so, like that. go ahead and get the bolt started. And take something to pry back with. Get your ratchet, 10 millimeter. And it don't have to be torqued down, just go ahead and get it tight. Alright, we're going to install 3 case bolts to hold the 2 case halves together so it don't come apart on us and fall on the floor. I just put one down here in the bottom, and this takes an 8 millimeter. These don't have to be torqued down also, but just make sure they're tight. I went ahead and put the bottom one in before I moved it at all. That would be an expensive accident. Yeah, go ahead and tighten it down so you can see the 2 case halves pull together. And over here by the piston. Next, we're going to install the reverse shift cam detent assembly. It involves washer, bolt, spring, and a little silver ball. Alright, washer, spring goes in the middle, and just drop the ball down in the hole onto the shift drum. You can just hand tighten this. It don't have to be torqued. All right. Going to take a wrench, turn your shift drum stopper, your shift drum counterclockwise, and you have to wiggle the output shaft a little bit, make sure it engages, and we're going to need both hands on this. Alright, on your shift drum, you can see how it has 6 points. 1 point is rounded off. Turn that until the stopper is in the rounded off point, and that should be neutral. So you should be able to turn the main axle, and the output shaft back here doesn't turn. Yeah. We are checking the forward and reverse shifting. Next, alright, so you have your shift drum turned counterclockwise. And we're just going to shift through all the gears by turning the main axle with one hand and the shift drum with the other hand. And if everything's right, you should be able to turn the main axle counterclockwise and the output axle should turn counterclockwise. Make sure the reverse isn't engaged. You should have it turn. You should have the reverse shift drum counterclockwise. Alright, so go through all the gears, turning the main axle counterclockwise, and the output axle should be turning counterclockwise indeed. Alright, after you shift through all the gears, take it back to neutral. Check neutral again, and turn the reverse shift drum clockwise. And might have to wiggle the output shaft to get it to engage, and then alright, so reverse should be engaged. Check that by turning the output shaft, not turning the main axle counterclockwise, and the output shaft should be turning clockwise. That's how you know reverse is working. Alright, so if you checked your forward and reverse shifting and everything's working correctly, you know you've done it right and it is ready to be split. The case split again. Install the RTV and get ready. Alright, I'm going to pause the video. Don't forget, before you split the case half again, take out the reverse shift cam detent assembly and take off the shift drum stopper. Alright, once you've checked the forward and reverse shifting and resplit the two case halves, you are ready to install the RTV. I've got the JB Weld brand. It's heat resistant up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's oil resistant. It's got a set time of 1 hour. That means after you apply a bead all the way around it on both sides, you put the two case halves together. You put all the bolts in, tighten them down just a little bit, just enough to where the RTV starts squeezing out, and then let it sit for an hour, and then you come back and torque them down. That lets the RTV harden up a little bit so you get a good seal. Before you install the RTV, go around each case half with mineral spirits, get them nice and clean. It'd be a pain in the ass getting the motor put together, installed on the four-wheeler just to find out it's leaking oil and have to come back and do this over again. So it's one thing to get right the first time. I'm not gonna record me doing this. You should be able to figure it out by yourself. Shouldn't be too hard. Just put a bead all the way around it. Don't forget to put a little bead on these parts on both sides. The torque specs for the let me find them. Crankcase mounting bolts is 7.2 foot-pounds of torque. The reverse shift cam bolt is 7.2 also, and the reverse switch, hang on, reverse the detent assembly bolt. No, I don't know if that's the same. Hang on. The stopper lever is 10. Reverse switch, I'm not sure if that's the detent assembly. It's 10. Alright, so the detent assembly is 10 foot-pounds of torque. My bad. The stopper is 10. reverse shift cam bolt 7.2, and the crankcase mounting bolts are 7.2 foot-pounds of torque. Alright, I should do it. I don't think I missed anything. Make sure you like and subscribe, because I will be uploading the videos of the rest of the stages. And I'm gonna start doing videos all the time now. I'm always fixing something, always breaking it and then fixing it. And yeah, so there'll be new videos all the time, and there'll be different stages putting this motor together, and hopefully there'll be a video of it running. I actually redid the whole quad, took it all the way down the frame, sandblasted it and everything, got it looking good. But it'll be for sale, so if you're in the North Georgia area and want a nice Raptor for a decent price, hit me up on YouTube, maybe one of the comments. That is it, I reckon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if I'm posting some outdoorsy videos, maybe a little go caving every once in a while. I got one caving video already on there, the Nash Waterfall Pit. It's over at the base of Pigeon Mountain up here in North Georgia. Thank you. Have a good day.